Real estate investing looks easy until it's not. One wrong move can cost you thousands, and I've seen it happen to good people over and over. Today, I'm breaking down the biggest risks that trip up new real estate investors and how you can avoid them. Some people think that risk is just about not losing money, but sometimes the biggest risk can be missing out on a deal because you're too scared to pull the trigger. And then there's this idea that diversifying your portfolio will save you. I don't think that's true either. Bad deals are bad deals, no matter how many properties you own. Let's break down the three biggest types of risk that you actually need to worry about. Number one, market risk. This is what happens when economies shift, interest rates go up, and demand goes down in the area that you're investing in. And if you're not prepared for it, you can be in deep trouble. Guys, if you've been a real estate investor for a while, or if you've been sitting on the sidelines and watching, we've all seen this play out. Market risks are a real thing, and it was only 10 or 15 years ago when we had the financial markets crash and real estate markets plummeted overnight. It was a terrible time to be a real estate investor, and I can tell you from personal experience, I had lots of debt at the time. I wasn't flexible enough to pivot, and it cost me damn near everything. Actually, it did. I was penniless broke. It was one of the most painful times of my life, and I don't want you to ever have to go through that. I can remember praying to God to let me learn this lesson one time. And so now I hopefully have learned that lesson, and I'm sharing it with you. Be careful with debt. Market risks are real, and real estate investors need to be able to make a pivot when something changes. So for us, we were buying value add properties using really expensive money through hard money lenders. And at the time that the market shifted, we didn't have any rental properties, so we had no income coming in. I can remember it was like $80,000 a month in interest payments that were going out every single month without $1 of income coming in. And I had been making money up until like the summer of 2006, like I was playing in the NBA. I was printing the stuff. We were rolling in it. Life was good. And then the market shifted on us. And guys, by the end of it, by summer of 2008, I was penniless broke. And it was all because the market shifted on us. It was also my fault. I wasn't investing wisely. I didn't have cash flow, which we don't want to see you do that. And I was using very expensive money. So learn from me. Don't do that. Which leads us into the second one, number two, and that's liquidity risk. Two things that I have to say about liquidity risks, and one of them I'll tie into what happened to me back in 2008, where we went penniless broke, and we were using the really expensive money. We didn't have any revenues coming in, and so when the market started to crash, we were just trying to sell as fast as we could, and we were losing money every step of the way. I didn't have a way to go and replace the high interest loans with low interest loans from the bank because the banks weren't lending any money and nobody was buying the real estate. So it didn't matter what I was selling it for. It was very hard to find a buyer at the time. So that's one way that a liquidity risk can cost you as a real estate investor. But there's another portion of it that fast forward 10 years, I sat out and missed a really good opportunity because I was so afraid to borrow money at the time. So once we were no longer broke and we were back in the game, we were partnering with people who had money and we were giving away half of our interest in the property. So we were giving away half of the profits. I didn't have any money going out monthly. I was sleeping well at night. We were making tons of money, but I had friends that were telling me, Robbie, these banks are giving away money at like less than 3% interest. It's ridiculously cheap, and you should be borrowing a whole bunch of money. If you do, you'll be able to do more real estate. I was stubborn, guys. Again, learn from my mistakes. That's why we do this YouTube channel, is we show you what we do. We talk about how we do it, and we even tell you why. Right now, I'm telling you about liquidity risks. I had a chance to borrow millions of dollars at like less than 3% interest, and I chose to sit it out, and I didn't do it. And now interest rates have risen again, and I'm kicking myself because, believe it or not, had I borrowed millions of dollars back then at 3% interest, today that money would basically be free. What happened is inflation came, interest rates started to rise, the property values went through the roof. Had I borrowed money 5-6 years ago at 3% or less interest rates, man, I'd be looking like a genius today. So take advantage of the liquidity when you can get it at good rates. Don't sit out things. Don't be a fool. Borrow good money. Be careful with debt. Number three, Operational risks. Guys, this is the stuff nobody likes to talk about. Dealing with flaky contractors, which is all contractors, tenants trashing your properties, and unexpected repairs that can eat up your profits. And if you don't have a good system for handling all of this, you can have a bad time of it. Let me give you a real world example that my friend just went through. My buddy's a new real estate investor, and he jumped into a fix and flip thinking he had a slam dunk deal. The numbers looked really good, but what wasn't accounted for, and probably what couldn't have been accounted for, was delays in the time that it took to renovate stuff, paying extremely high interest rates on his hard money loan, and the massive inflation that we just went through. So let me break it down. He started his fix and flip. He bought the property. It looked good. The numbers were all great. He hired a contractor who said they could do the job quickly, and he gave him a budget. It all looked good on paper and it sounded great. During the time that he started the renovation, his contractor would routinely only show up 3 days of the week. So what was supposed to be a 2-month job actually ended up taking 6 months to complete. He had borrowed hard money on his deal in Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico hard money is exactly like it sounds. It's freaking hard money. It's very expensive. We're talking 15% interest. We're talking a whole bunch of points. And usually they're only giving you these loans for about a year before they're going to ask you for more points. So this money is really expensive. And when you have these kind of time delays, it can hurt. And oh, by the way, at the same time that he was having these problems with the contractor and these delays with the contractor, we had a rapid, massive inflation that caused the price of his materials to nearly quadruple. So his budget went from something that was reasonable, where he could have made a profit, to something that was just basically going to eat him out of house and home. And his renovation budget nearly doubled. The time that it took him to do the renovation went 3 times longer than he had expected, and he was paying that high interest rate. Now, what could he have done differently? He could have done more due diligence, especially when it came to the cost of renovations. He could have done a better job of vetting his contractor, and he could have possibly partnered with somebody who had the cash rather than borrow the high interest rate money. This was one of his first deals, and so I think it could have been a very good idea for him to partner with someone who had money. That way, when he had the time delays, he wouldn't be eating through his profits. So luckily for my buddy, he invested in Puerto Rico. And in Puerto Rico, time is on your side. While he had a tremendous delay in the renovation, the costs went up. He had a flaky contractor. He was able to absorb all of the punches and roll with it. And at the end of the day, he was able to sell the property and still make a profit because values went up. It wasn't the profit that he had originally expected, but he did still make a profit. So investing in the right place saved his ass. Here's the deal. Risk isn't about avoiding risk entirely. That's impossible. It's about being prepared. If you do your homework and you have a solid plan and you expect the unexpected and you can roll with the punches, you can turn risk into opportunities. Also, guys, let me just add, you don't have to do this by yourself. In fact, we'd like to be a part of your real estate investing story. So we've created a community over on School. You can join for free. The link's in the description, or leave me a comment. Tell me that you want in. Just comment yes, and I'll send you the link. You can join for free. Come over, learn with us, network with us, and ultimately, guys, let's do some real estate deals together. Hey, inside of the comments, let me know what's the biggest risk that you've ever faced inside of your real estate investing career. And if you're new, tell me what risk worries you the most. I'll be checking the comments and responding to them, and we can have a conversation. Hey guys, many of you watch these videos time and again, and I think you're getting great value out of it, but you haven't hit that subscribe button for us. So give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, become part of our community, and watch this video next. Tell me if I'm gentrifying Puerto Rico.